So I've had a lot of questions regarding the upcoming race season and how to get established on a good running program. What I want to do today is just kind of go over a few points that I would like to give to you guys to establish a real solid running program. Now, running is a great form of exercise, but you need to remember first you got to walk before you can run. And walking is the most basic, essential movement we can do. It's pretty easy. It requires minimal money, memberships, equipment. You can just do it. Before we run, we need to be able to walk. And then from there, you can start establishing how to become a better runner and become more efficient with that. So a quote Eric Cressey always says is, you can't always run just to get fit. You have to get fit to run. And what a lot of people don't understand about that is that, well, I like to run, I want to get into good shape. People that go from nothing to something usually end up breaking down somewhere, shape, or form. And what we want to try to do is prevent that. So get your body acclimated to running a little bit more. Add it in slowly along the way, and then from there, establish a program. You have to allot a certain amount of time to let your body become acclimated to the program you're starting with. So for me to just get started running right now, going 10 miles a week, eventually I might develop a little plantar fasciitis. Depending on how I run, might get a little bit of calf cramping or potentially some shin splints. So I want you to really try to think about giving yourself a decent amount of time, 4 or 5 months, to really get ready for an upcoming race, regardless of the distance. There are a lot of books out there on couch potato to running, and you can read all those books, and those are good, but I'll tell you right off the bat, anybody that's going to start a running program is going to have a long distance day and a short interval based day, and maybe one in between there. And what that's really allowing your body to do is not do the same thing again and again and again. And it might be starting off with half a mile jog and just see how long you can go. Run a minute, walk a minute. That's what I tell a lot of people that want to really get started with that. Assure that you have good shoes before you start that up. And really, once you get into that program, once you've become established with the running routine, you want to give yourself a day a little bit longer of a run, and every week leading up to that race, you want to extend that run a little bit longer each week. And the point with that is your body is becoming more acclimated to the longer distance every week, but you're slowly throwing that in there. Followed up by a few days later doing a more interval-based run. A lot of people ask me what interval training does. And essentially what an interval program does is you're providing a day of really fast runs followed by some slow. Really fast, really slow. So this could be a minute fast, a minute slow, a minute fast, a minute slow, or a quarter mile on, walk a quarter mile. And what that's doing is allowing the body to overcompensate with really fast bursts of speed that really require a lot of oxygen, and they create a lot of oxygen debt. And that essentially is what gets our metabolism faster, and our body gets conditioned and used to these high energy demands. That way, when we do our slower run, it's a little easier and we can slow our pace down and not have to stop. You can even incorporate that with uphill sprints. You can do treadmill runs, trail running. Those are good things. Anything to change up your pace, because you got to remember when you're running, you're in a linear fashion the entire way. So you're really maintaining that long, slow speed of the same up and down motion. So changing direction is a good thing. So today I'm going to give you 3 guidelines on how to have a great running program. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we're foam rolling. And this is nothing more than tissue prep. And if you haven't had a foam roller, I would suggest you get one. You can use these in day to day, and I wish these things would have come out 20 years ago where people would have been using them, but more or less it's a way to massage the body before you get going, and it's kind of a readiness activity. And tissue prep, you want to really follow the body with 3 to 5 rolls in each section, and especially with a lot of my runners, I really want to try to emphasize making sure they're getting their glutes, hip flexors, and quadriceps rolled out. It's important to keep the back and your lats rolled out as well, because you are encompassing those muscle groups as well, but really trying to hit that lower body and break a lot of that up, because over time you're really going to develop a lot of tightness in those areas. So in addition to foam rolling, we want to also make sure that we're throwing in a good strength regimen too. And strength regimens are really important to running, despite all the myths that go around about it. There are a lot of benefits associated with strength training, and I would highly emphasize you incorporating that into your running program. Number 1 being more bone mineral density. So you're exposing your body to demands like that. It's going to really increase that overall structure of your bones and really keep you strong and injury free. Number 2, it's going to increase your metabolism. And along with running, although that does increase your metabolism, that emphasis on strength training also increases that oxygen debt we were talking about with the intervals. And anaerobic lifts, such as strength training, really increase that oxygen debt and create a lot more of a heightened metabolism for your body. The more we strength train, it's going to help our functional capacity. It's going to help us run better. It's going to help our performance and all around. So once we strength train those muscle groups, those are going to help propel us forward. And third, we want to focus on recovery and taking those off days whenever your body needs it. And you'll notice every good running program has a taper in it. And you want to begin maybe pulling back a little bit towards the end of training for that marathon or whatever you're doing. And you'll never really see in those situations of 26 miles someone running the full distance of that. They'll maybe run to 20 tops and then they'll cut back a little bit. And what you want to really try to do is not overdo that run. Even if you're coming in heavy and you've had a lot of volume, back off a little bit. Allow those times to strength train and have those days off. You know, if you're working your legs on one day doing some strength work, probably wouldn't be the best having that super long distance run the next day. So when we work with our athletes, we provide programs that allow them to have plenty of days to recover for rest, strength training. That way they're not having to worry about anything. And they're coming in, they know the plan is already organized just for them. Along with recovery, we really want to focus on stretching when we get done with these runs. And there's a lot of debate on whether or not static or dynamic stretching really helps, but if anything, I would try it. It's not going to hurt you to do that. And especially the earlier you run in the morning, you're going to be a little bit tighter. So that foam rolling is going to really help out that. And when you get done with that run, you know, we're probably going to have some tight muscle groups. The hamstrings, the hip flexors are mainly going to be a real tight area. Some people it's going to be glutes. Just overall, you got to remember, people think runners are the most flexible. They are not. They are the worst flexible ones out there because they're stuck in this linear motion for a constant state of time where they're hiking that hip flexor up on top of sleeping, probably cradled, on top of sitting at a desk job. So those hip flexors are shortened. We got to stretch those things out. So really having a program that provides a lot of stretch maintenance, and it's got to be specific to you. It's got to be a program tailored to specifically be for you. So when we ever assess our athletes, we look at those areas of importance of what they're really needing in that program. You know, a lot of people just want to go out there and just run. And some people might be able to, but eventually it's going to catch up with you. And that's where someone like us comes in to help out with that. 9 times out of 10, someone who has low back pain, usually associated with tight hamstrings. So that's kind of something we see a lot of in people, and it's important to really address in your program with running. So that concludes your 3 guidelines to having a great running program brought to you by TriFit. In part 2, we're going to go over how to design a program specifically meant for you. We're going to show you the best strength exercises meant for runners. We're going to show you how to run more efficiently, and lastly, how to have a sound nutrition when leading up to a race. So don't miss out.